Kane. I am your host and part of Spirit Calling, this beautiful community that we have. And we're here for our monthly chat. And it's nice. We have a nice little small group here, although we did have some technical difficulties, so that could also be contributing to our size, but neither here nor there. I'm so excited to talk with Michael and Nicole today. They've been with Spirit Calling for quite some time now. They'll share a little bit of their background and their story, but that way we can kind of get a little bit deeper into, what is going on? Why are we even here? What's going on in our lives? Has our perspectives changed since maybe our awakening? And I'm interested because I feel in a very different place than I was when I first wanted to start having these conversations. So I'm looking forward to seeing where you guys are. So welcome.
Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's do a little introduction. Let's do Nicole Gibbs, please.
All right,
Tell us
awesome.
a little bit about you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Nicole Gibbs. I have been with Spirit Calling for a couple of years now. I feel like I'm losing track of time even more and more. So something like that. I feel like it's now part of my routine. It's just like my normal, just like any of my other apps that I normally check. It's just like getting in with the community regularly. So it's like part of the routine, which is so nice to be able to fill up the cup with high vibe information all the time and not deal with any of the BS. So I'm very
Mhm.
thankful for this community and being a part of this. I have a website, Awakening Mass Meditations, and I create sound healings and I guide meditations. I've kind of been shifting away from more regularly, but I do them regular monthly for our community here. And yeah, just a lot of shifts like we kind of were talking about, which we'll get into. But yeah, I'm excited. My website's taking some changes now. It's more focused on the tools, resources for your awakening, and just like a hub of information of everything you could need just to get your feet wet, I guess, if you are just getting started, or even a little dive deeper if you're just kind of surface level information on this. So I'm excited for the new things that are coming for me. So yeah, lots of new stuff.
I can't wait. We'll dive. I would like to dive deeper into what it is that you do. You're very active in the community. Thank you. And but also, you come with services that people may highly need. I think everybody can benefit from what you do. So I just want to make sure that we talk a little bit about that. And so, Michael, tell us a little bit about you. And hey, who knows? You might talk about anybody that is committed. Michael, you might have to be the voice of Spirit Calling because if you're not posting, there's something wrong.
Well, I was thinking that. I was like, I'm starting to pull back. If you have noticed lately, I'm pulling it back a little bit, just a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
still, I'm obsessive.
Yeah, but I
Um,
love what you have to offer. I giggle actually when you post stuff because it's exactly what I'm thinking, and you're just putting it out there. So I appreciate you.
I'm putting intentional curveballs in there to make people think. And
Hmm.
I like, if I before Spirit Calling, I was putting lots of stuff on LinkedIn. I guess is where I usually, uh, you know, work around. My Facebook is just a 100 people I know, and they're mostly people from all my life, so they're still stuck in the mud, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, LinkedIn is an experiment to see who I can find that are interesting. And I do find I don't say lots, but I do find unique people. And I find it's finding gold in like a mountain of dirt. It's really hard to find, but when you find it, it's awesome. But when it
Hmm.
came to Spirit Calling, everyone here's gold.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
so that's the awesome thing about coming to Spirit Calling is that I don't have to worry about, well, I never was this way. I never tried to see, I throw things woo-woo out on LinkedIn
Yeah.
to clear the chaff away. I don't want to hear from you anyway if you're not into what I'm into. And if I'm attracted to you on LinkedIn, that means I get the genuine person.
Hmm.
Because, but when you come to Spirit Calling, it's like we're all the people looking for like this sort of thing,
Absolutely.
and it's there's no judgment. It's like we take it like there's always a risk of judgment on LinkedIn or other social media, but
Sure.
in this area, there's very, 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 very little judgment. Very rare that it would happen. Happened a couple times last year, but that's, getting our feet wet a bit. The new
Yeah.
people.
right,
There's going to be some clashes, but again, we just have to respect each other. And then
yeah,
like um I know I put stuff out there that's a little bit dark and light
Well, that's
and
what we're in. We're
funny,
in contrast for sure.
and I try to, you know, I don't know. I just sometimes I think I'm oversharing and stuff like that, and then I say I scared, I get scared, say, oh, I hope I'm not sharing enough because then they might get addicted to me. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So,
I think that you
so
just have to go with what you feel. Like if someone wants to
yeah,
read it, they can read it. If they don't want to read it, they don't read it.
yeah. So I'm trying to what I'm finding out this year is that things are getting refined. Like last year was just volume or like heart, and this year is flow and refinement. So
Mm,
like I seem that I'm watching things on YouTube, and even the stuff that's within my realm of interest is getting narrower and narrower. And
yeah.
I'm choosing more strategically of where I want to spend my focus on, hoping to, I'm not hoping, but just feeling what's best for my soul per se, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's almost like um I'm not forcing myself to be that way. It's just I'm just feeling myself into what I have to approach. So a lot of, for example, between last year and this year, last year I was into more astrology and stuff like that, which I am right now. But this year, uh, uh, unbeknownst to me, that also all the spiritual Egyptian stuff started coming in like December, January, and I'm hooking up with people with past priest or Egyptian lies. Maybe I was Egyptian priestess in the past, or priest or something like that. But I'm also aligning with a lot of ley line stuff and activating codes and stuff like that. That's why I got this sword. I bought this weekend. It's my this is my Archangel Michael sword. That's what I call this.
I
So,
love it.
and
You know how I
there's
feel
a
about
story,
Archangel
and there's
Michael.
a story behind that. So, so I went on a sort of epic adventure on the weekend, but I won't talk about that now
Well, we'll
unless you
talk
want to
about
hear.
that in a little bit,
Yeah,
but I saw that
yeah,
you posted that.
yeah,
What I like most about from when I first met you to now is I feel like you're on an adventure
yeah,
and you kind of keep us in the loop of that. And I think
yeah,
that's really great because who can you tell? You can't tell people on Facebook what you're doing. Like, I mean, they just won't understand it. So what better to tell your spirit calling people
yeah.
what you've been up to, and we can all kind of chime in. I was really excited that you of what you do. I'm actually very interested when you do something for Michael. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. It was really weird. So,
I also find it really interesting how you said you're getting into Egyptian stuff. That was
yeah,
what a piece of what woke me up, like however many 10 plus years ago. But I also just think it's funny how we're all just like linked with this information. Depending on where you are in your life, you're going to stumble upon it eventually if you're going this route. Somehow
yeah,
we all eventually like get to the same information. It doesn't matter when, but at some point we're all like magnetized to the truth,
yeah,
essentially. So
yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. So we have some people. We have a Nicole Hibbard and Anne Marie from Iceland on joining
Oh,
us. So welcome.
welcome.
And Stacey, thank you for coming on. I'm sorry we had a little issue with the link here today. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys.
How are
It's
you
good to be
today?
here. I am doing okay. I just finished walking my dog, getting some air, and now I'm sitting in the nice weather in my backyard. So,
Where are you
yeah.
located?
So I'm in Atlantic Beach, New York, which is
Oh,
if you're if you know Kennedy Airport, if anybody's gone to Manhattan, I'm about 20 minutes from Kennedy Airport.
okay. Yes.
That sort of gives the location. So I'm close
Yeah.
to the city as well,
That's
but we're
cool
like
because
at
it looks beautiful wherever you are. You look at
yeah,
a lot and very peaceful. So,
it is peaceful, unless you go to the village meetings here, and then it's like like Peyton Place. If
oh
anyone
yeah.
knows what that was.
Yes.
Uh,
So how long have you been with Spirit Calling? I mean, I think have you been on this? I think you've been on
I
one of the
think
five year.
I have been on it before. I haven't been on it lately. I haven't been
Yeah.
able to
I'm so
actually.
glad you came.
Yeah,
So thank you.
Friday. Yeah, thanks. I joined in January after I saw Pam on Alex Ferrari,
Yeah,
and I'm on. I know Michael and I know Nicole. Nicole's come up with some great sound frequencies for me that I use every night, actually, which
that's
is really
awesome.
good.
That's good to
And
hear.
yeah, I haven't been able to do Fridays. I'm not sure if this is always on a last Friday, but
It
it's been
is. It's
tough.
usually on a Fridays,
So,
and
so
you can
my
always change
mother,
it.
I would go visit my mother, but she passed away 2 weeks ago.
Oh
So,
no.
yeah, so that's like Michael knows, but that's like freed up. I usually can get on the 5 o'clock call, but it's freed up my day. It's a
Okay.
weird thing right now because my sister and I were both caregivers, and I've spent a lot of my time over the last 5 years since my dad passed,
So
helping
you've
her.
been the
So it's
caregiver. Now it's going to be a different
yeah,
shift in role for you. Well, first of all, I'm sorry about your loss, and I
thank
hope
you.
that you're and starting to at least move into a comfortable place. But it's never easy, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it does. I look, I'm 60 years old and I had my mom for 60 years, so that's amazing. But
yeah,
I think the longer you have them around, the more longer you get used to them. So
yeah,
it's hard. But yeah, this is my safe space. This is my, like, I heard you a little bit of what Michael was saying, and it's true. It's like, you know, everyone else probably around me must think I'm crazy. And not must. They probably, anybody that knows my woo-woo scale, whatever, they like my husband just sort of thinks I'm wacky. I was watching Stephen Greer the other night on something, and he's like, "Are you effing kidding me? Like, this is ridiculous."
yeah.
You can
Well,
get
I
out
think
there,
it's
but it's
great.
interesting.
I love that we can have these conversations. I mean, because I do. I that's one reason why I had it is I look forward to just seeing what people are up to and like understanding them. Like when I first heard like New Earth, that was very intriguing to me. If you talk to
That's
somebody
true.
like random on the street, I don't know if they'll care. They're like, "What? New Earth? Two Earths splitting or whatever." I'm fascinated by that for some reason. I don't know why. But
Mhm.
or like volunteers coming to Earth, and we're all light workers and we're all finding each other. Like to me, I'm like, wow, it hits me to my core.
Yeah, have a
So
responsibility now.
right. And it's like, so you find the people, and for me, like when I would say my awakening happened in 2018, 19. I was going through a rough patch financially with businesses and having young children, and went down quantum healing hypnosis, where I guess I would say my pineal gland and spiritual awakening started. And then from there, it was all like I was in school, education. I just wanted to know as much as possible. I went down every rabbit hole. I took every course. I even took a QHHD course. I became a practitioner and other practices. And now, personally, I'm like the observer. It's like all of a sudden something occurred, or well, I'd say God put this path in line, said, okay, you're done the education. Now you need to stop and you need to watch and you need to look and really observe your surroundings, because I think, especially what we see on social media, there's a lot of stuff that's not even real. And how long has it not been real? How long has the stuff that's been presented us been an illusion?
For
So
sure.
that's where I am right now. I'm really just taking it back, and belief systems that I have are stripping away, and I'm just kind of letting things unfold and not trying to get triggered by what we used to get triggered by, or we may still be triggered by, and allowing this grand whatever be revealed, hopefully sooner than later.
Exciting. We can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Nicole? What are you feeling these days?
Oh man. I definitely can resonate with that. There's been a shift that happened. I want to say the beginning of the year, because that's when all of a sudden I just wasn't resonating with my every single month meditations that I was doing for my website. Something was shifting with the mission or the priority. I'm not really sure exactly still what it means, but we're decoding that still. It's exciting though, because it's all part of the adventure of life. But again, like I said, I've been doing a lot of shifts on my website, so it's kind of turning into more of, I guess, the big picture that I wasn't seeing back then. It's kind of like more revealing itself of what is important for me to share with people. So it took me a while to get to this space. So I feel like the beginning of the year, something happened where I, like you said, the observer, I had to step away for a while. I
Mm-hmm.
was not as like doing these creative things all the time, getting active. Was just drained by that for a while and needed to recharge, rethink, redo everything. And so I feel like during that time, so much has changed, so much has passed, and the word caregiver is still sticking out to me, like Stacey mentioned. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of us are in this caregiver incarnation now, because a lot of us resonate with the caretaking of anything from animals to family to friends to whatever your job may be. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of us have been carrying that, maybe not even just this life. Perhaps it's kind of bleeding in from other lives, but I feel like a lot of caregiving and supportive roles are very on the front of my mind right now. And a lot of us, I don't know if maybe some of you resonate with this, but I know a lot of us are dealing with physical pain issues that actually link to grounding, which the grounding is sometimes usually linked with caregiving and supportive roles. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like this like link of it all together. I personally have, I know there's past life caregiving roles, but also this life also I have a bunch of animals. I'm always caring for them. I had one pass a few months ago. I'm still super emotional about that. It's just like you're never stopped caring, I guess. And so you carry this energy, this with you always, and you kind of forget what's really going on and who the true form is that you came here to be, because we get wrapped up in all these caretaking supportive roles. I hope this makes sense, but I'm just
Absolutely.
kind of talking that out too as I'm feeling it, because this is really real for me. And I have been dealing with sciatica pain for a few months now. It's very debilitating. I know a lot of people dealing with spinal pain and feet pain and all kinds of things. So it's like really interesting to see how it's all kind of like our bodies are telling us to pause, to like look
Absolutely.
back, to reflect. Like you said, that reflection this year, Michael, I feel like the focus is changing, and it's not so much of all this putting out information, all this out, 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 but now we're going in,
Absolutely.
and it's changing what will come and what is to come for humanity, I believe.
I feel like you just gave me a download too, like because I've been
Ooh,
having a lot of ankle pain,
mm,
like left side,
that's
and
crazy.
so I also did a lot of deep dives and research about how, our body is like, our communicator, biggest communicator of
Yeah.
emotion and what leads to ultimately dis-ease, right? So sciatica. I should look up something for you later, Nicole. But usually the back, the lower back,
Yeah.
the hips are not
Yes.
feeling supported. Well, mostly the lower back. So there's some level of not feeling supported. Left side's in the past, right side is present. And past could also be in past lives. But anything also from the hips, knees to ankles is not moving in the direction that you're supposed to. Like
Mm.
you're stopping yourself. And again, left side, past lives, right side. So I have to remember that and being grounded, being present to
Oh,
listen
yes.
to those messages. Thank you for that
Thank
because
Yes, of course. And if you mind, I just wanted a couple things you said. For me, I'm getting all these, Kate, work on grounding. It's like, okay, what does that really mean though? Like, yeah, I can go outside and stand on barefoot, but like taking that further, the breath is literally where the grounding comes in. A lot of us hold our breath and whatnot, but I've been working so much on my breathing, even just the smallest different exercises, techniques, whatever. But it really does relieve at the time pain. Breath equals grounding. But there was something else you said too about um, oh no, it was really exciting.
was it the back?
Um, yeah. Oh, the side, the present. Okay, hold
Yeah, the
on.
left
What
side
is
is
that?
the past and the past lives, and the
Yes.
right side of the body is, and it's also the left side's the
Oh,
feminine energy, the right side's the masculine energy.
oh yes, yes. We can definitely go deep like that too. Positive, negative,
Yeah.
all the things. Okay, so I remembered I was gonna say is even with that going further, I've been having um okay, how do I even say this? Okay, so Greg Braden is actually the one that put this in my awareness, but everything that we deal with, our house, our cars, or whatever, everything's going to have a direct reflection of you projecting on whatever it is you're dealing with. And what I mean by that is for the grounding thing or the supportive care roles, all these things, not having the trajectory of going forward and moving forward, like with the right side, like you were saying. I've been having vehicle issues for a couple years now too. And the vehicle also is a representation of moving forward and not having a
Mm.
clear goal or vision for the future. And so that's also with moving forward, having grounded ideas, things like that. And it's just interesting how I'm picking up these messages that have literally been like in my face for so long. And it's like, you got to look at the messages and decode them, because clearly it's grounding, it's getting the vision, it's moving forward on something that
Absolutely. My
is
car is doing
solid.
something weird too. It's like I'm driving and I guess it's like, and I don't really have like when you get
So
too close
funny.
to a car, it'll put the brakes on. I don't have that
Oh
feature,
yeah.
but it must have some type of automatic feature because I'm just driving down. All of a sudden, zit, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh
And
no,
it did
that's
it twice.
crazy.
And Brian's like, maybe there's a recall, but it was twice and it was scary.
That is scary.
And then it's been beeping weird and then it restarted the other day. I'm like, there's some
Oh
crazy
no.
downloads going on in the universe here that I'm not
Honestly,
aware of, but I feel
yes.
you.
My car has been, yeah. Even after I sold the car having issues and bought a new one, the new one right away had issues. I was like, this is definitely a direct correlation of myself.
That is so crazy. That's interesting. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you shared that. Michael or Stacy, how about I know you both have been in caregiver roles before. Can you relate to what we're saying, or is there anything
Oh
that
yeah.
you may want to share based on how you're moving through this? Because I went through like months of having to balance the caregiver role, because you can be over consuming yourself with that role. I have young children, and I also was caring for sick animals. And so I also often found that I wasn't in alignment, obviously, and a lot of the things were triggering some issues that I had, maybe of even resentment and things like that because of that balance. How about you? Any of you want to share anything?
I took care of my wife before she passed away in 2023 of ovarian cancer. And my dog, she was 17 and she was starting to get dementia or something. And she was going downhill fast. She was 17, right?
Hmm.
Um, so those are both caretaker roles.
Absolutely.
After my wife passed away, I had really bad psoriatic arthritis where I was in pain, quite a bit of pain. And the same thing happened last year with my dog going in pain.
Mm.
Maybe Nicole, some of your pain is related to your pets dying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It could be
I was
that.
you did I think you just said it. I think all of us, because my cat, we just put our cat down
Yeah,
weeks
That's
ago.
crazy
And I feel
to
yeah,
like
see that
maybe that's its
correlation.
way of trapped energy, or
yeah,
energy sitting stagnant there, and it
yeah,
might need a little bit more
Honestly,
yeah.
attention.
So
makes a lot
Stacey,
of
you
sense.
might I hope it doesn't flare up your chronic illnesses because your
Not
mother just
right.
died.
I know,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
and my dog's 12 and a half, so I'm just like, you can
yeah.
nothing can happen. Like honestly, this year has been a very challenging year. I say the best thing about the whole year. I had my daughter had a baby in March, so we have our
Yeah,
first grandchild, which is so
that's
nice, and he's one.
exciting.
Yeah, so that's great. And everything else has been a poop show. So I'm trying to look at it like without judgment, without. I always say I'm not a victim. I'm just this is happening for me. But in Michael, when I in January when I met Pamela, like right around that time, I went through what I like to call, I guess, as a dark night of the soul, with horrible migraines. Nicole, you made like an atlas sound frequency for me. That's great. And I was like on this going down a rabbit hole with migraines that triggered anxiety, and like it just felt like I had to stop everything. And I'm a person that's always like running around busy, caretaking, caregiving, worrying about everyone else. My father used to say, you need to just lay down, take a minute, don't worry about it. And I never did, or you'll get sick. And I did get sick. I've had cancer twice. I had breast cancer and during COVID, right around when my dad passed. And thank God I'm okay now. But it is true. It's all of this running around and caregiving, as beautiful as the thing that it can be when it's depleting you, it's a real problem.
Mhm.
And that whole issue, I had this issue for 6 weeks, from like the end of January to like a week before the baby came, where I couldn't do anything. I was in and out of doctors and therapists and medicines, and I've never felt like that in my life. The therapist said it was deep depression. I'm like, no, been depressed. This is like an anxiety with, it's almost like I wasn't even looking out of my own eyes. That's what I just was detached from everything. It was like a nothingness, but really scary. Like I couldn't be alone. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And so that, I think that looking back, that was kind of a big wake up call for like, stop. you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm.
Pamela said, right, the August message has been about stillness and peace and just kind of having some sort of sense of quiet and observation. And like that was the last thing I was doing. And it made me, it like made me, I couldn't do anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God a week before my grandson came, it's like I woke up one day, I felt better. Um, and then there were some other challenges, and obviously my mother getting sick is one. But you know what? I have to say, I'm a big synchronicities person, and I wrote this on the page the other day. It was really fascinating. I've been wanting to do a cacao ceremony. I'm not of the like, I'm not a person who likes marijuana. I freak out, so I don't think ayahuasca would be for me, at least not at this stage. I would be very, very nervous. But somebody brought up cacao last week to me, and then I talked to the group about it Friday, and then again Saturday, someone brought it up again, and I went over to a shop that's not far from me, which is an apothecary, and they're offering all kinds of in-person spiritual things. Really nice owner, and I went in there the other day to see if they would be able to do a cacao ceremony, and
You
the
would
woman
love
said
it.
to me,
I've done a
uh,
bunch.
I feel like that, and the woman was probably in her 30s, and I said to her, my mother just passed away like couple weeks ago. So she said to me, she's in her 30s and I'm 60. And she said, my mother passed away as well in the summer. What was the date? So I told her August 15th. And she said, her mother passed away August 15th, not this year, but like that was just such a one out of 365
Wow.
chances
The
that that,
chances,
that was going
right?
to happen. And I went
Wow.
in there and I got my dad's sign has been white butterflies since the day after he died. So I went, I found this little pair of earrings that I wasn't even intending to get. I tried them, they perfect. I got them. I start talking to the woman. She tells me about her mother. She tells me that women are always in there who've lost their mothers. They're like
Mm,
attracted to her. But
wow.
the whole thing was like,
I
it
just
was
got the
really
chills.
right. I had
Yeah.
full body chills and the place was really hot and she had the same. And I said, that's amazing. Like she's like, I'm glad you reminded me. We want to do a cacao ceremony and I want to do it in a good, safe place. Like this woman
Mm.
carries also excellent stuff that she imports. So, but it was just so weird. I'm like, what are the chances? Her mother
Yeah.
died August 15th. Another
Well, I
like I'm
feel
like,
like that was synchronicity for you to know that that was validation that you should move forward with that.
yeah,
That's what I felt just now with what you're saying. I'm also very sensitive to plant medicines, like super. I think this my
not for
frequency
me.
is just vibrating at a different level that it doesn't balance out what the medicine does. But I think that when you hear something, like for example, I like Sananga. I don't know if you ever heard of Sananga, but they're drops for your eyes. And it helps giving clarity and things like that, but they burn. But I've always had some issues with like inflammatory with the vagus nerve, and it's affected my left eye quite a bit. But I was attracted to doing Sananga. And just the other day, my husband just did it, and I'm like, I'm ready for it. And it takes your breath away, but I tell you, it like clears everything out and like inside your eye, and it just brings out like some emotions that might be clogged or just holding in that space. So I would say like even if you've tried some things or not quite ready for something that might be full body, it might not be your calling right now or in this lifetime. So I
Yeah.
think it's great that you're interested in the a cacao ceremony because
Cacao,
it's
yeah, cacao is non-hallucinogenic, and I feel
yeah,
like I could handle it. And people say it's great for the woman said it's really good for grief, and it opens your heart. And I've
I think
heard,
it's beautiful.
yeah, and so that's where I am now, and I'm kind of at this place where, I've been getting like some downloads that I hear things sometimes, but and buzzing in my left ear. But
Mm,
I've had pressure in this was part of my dark night.
yeah.
I started getting pressure in my left temple and I had every MRI, nothing's wrong. And now I know it's part of the awakening. I feel like it needs to just crack open. It's like the one piece I feel the pressure. I can tell when I meditate, I can tell when I even call my parents and I feel tingles and touches. But I feel like when that goes, my pineal gland will really open. I'm just and I think my headaches were part of that too, because I think there's something I'm holding on to out of maybe fear, where I'm just
Sure.
not letting it all open.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
ready. Like I
And
feel
we're
really
breaking down
ready.
old systems. You have to remember too. I mean, and even what they're doing in the environment. I mean, they've calcified a lot of our pineal gland with, food products and other things. And I don't need to go into the details. So we not only have to do that on a physical level, but we also have to deprogram all the things that they do through, television, social media. as we mentioned. So and so when we're surpassing all of those now, and it's like rewiring, kind of like what Nicole said. I feel like there was a reset too in the beginning of the year. I felt it because I definitely feel like I'm a different person than I was when I first started this journey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you're taking that next step. Do you know when's the ceremony going to be?
So she had to talk to the owner, and I'm hoping it'll be next month. Like they do a couple, they've just started doing the event part. So I've been like following them for 6 months, and they're really such a nice space. And across the street, they're open. Not they, but there's another group that are opening something called SOS Soul, which is
Mhm.
a health and wellness. So I'm kind of like excited about that too. So that's something nearby. And actually, Sol is my grandson's name. Funny enough.
Oh,
So
interesting.
isn't that
Sorry, it was just
funny?
333. I have to say something just
Yeah.
because that's a
Okay.
number that has meaning in this group.
Yeah. Yes. I just
Uh,
wrote a check. I wrote a check today that was 333. That's
really?
really funny.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
And
Well,
I have chills,
Michael,
right?
333. I know it was five
I
five
know.
five 333. It came, so I had to say something.
Also 1111, I got that too.
Oh,
Oh, you
okay.
got that? When did you get
So
that?
wait, that's great.
Um,
My mother's birthday is
a few months
11/11.
ago. No
Oh, did
way.
you really?
There you go.
No, but my
Yeah.
mom's birthday was 11/11, and
No way.
I've been getting ones all over. I'm all of a sudden if I'm on Instagram, I'll get like something that I don't follow, and it shows me 100,011 likes,
Wow. I think
111
that was validation. I
shares,
think some
and
family members are with us right now. So if we got the
Yeah.
333 and then
see,
1111, and I'll tie that in. And
11/11.
so
Yeah.
if anyone has any
All the
Shows
caregiving
birthdays,
full
roles that
body.
two
we
of
were
you.
talking about.
What's that?
All the caregiving roles we've talked about that have
All the
passed are
caregiving, they're all like, good job. We did our
they're
Yeah.
like, you're
role. You're
right,
They
you're
right
doing
on
appreciate,
it.
right?
well.
Now it's next level. You pass on
That's
the
right.
caregiver role, and now it's something else, right?
Now
Yeah.
time to care for ourselves, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that inner child that you were talking about, because how many times have we not cared for that and then stuff comes up and you're like, why is that coming up now? I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
that was another part of my awakening. I had no idea that I had to nurture my inner child. I didn't even know what that was. And meanwhile, all the trauma that had built up, I was able now to go through the process of what that was, to let that go and to forgive, and believe it or not, brought me closer to my father. My dad's a child psychiatrist. So
Irony.
me talking about any of this kind of stuff was interesting, but he's very intuitive. So part of him already knows this, but then he kind of fights it with the medical, Western medicine kind of person that he is, and that, but he's starting to see the cracks of the medical industry himself. And so he was very, he like thanked me for my perspective to be able to overcome a lot of the childhood traumas that I had, because I had shared them. I had to tell my parents, I'm like, this stuff happened to me. I want you to know, and that I'm okay with it, but I want you to know that that was something that really did affect my life. And I just never realized it until now. And it's how I parent my children. So if my children speak up, I'm not going to just dismiss their pain, their issues, their frustrations. It's not about, you know, I'm the parent. That doesn't matter. You don't matter. A lot of that kind of, not in a subtle way, whatever the parents in my household said, you kind of just did what they said. You really, what you felt didn't really matter, because we were children. And again, I don't know how you guys were growing up, but I was a latchkey kid. My parents were never present. They had my older sister watching me, who should clearly not have been watching my brother and I. So like I had to relive all those things I had no clue were affecting a lot of, issues that I had created, almost like an alter ego, to protect from the bullying that I received from my older sibling, and just a lot of things that, again, pushed under the rug, not thinking that that was an issue. But that's part of like the next chapter of what I experienced once I kind of like started doing all the research. All the stuff started coming up. How about you guys? Did you guys have a lot of stuff that, man, you never knew was there, and that you had to kind of look at and observe and go through and see how you can overcome it?
That's been a 15-year journey for me. It's like, oh, I'll fix this and the things will fall into place. And then he says, oh, I got to fix this now. Oh, I
Hmm.
got to fix this now. It's like the journaling, the self-compassion, the I'm into meditation now, so like every time we go into a different modality, it sort of clears and works on the problem we sort of have to work in that point in time. So a couple of years ago, I was doing Tibetan bowls, and that seemed to be put me
Mm,
right into meditation, and now it's not as effective anymore. Um, the past 2 months, I've been focusing on meditation, so I'm doing like 3 meditations a day now, right?
that's great. That's
Not that
really
I'm
good,
getting,
Michael.
That's
not that I'm
amazing.
getting better at it. I'm
But
still
they, but
having
your,
pro
but your intention is there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the
So
most important thing.
I'm also spending lots of time on reading Sarah Bressman Cosme books.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
love
reading
her too. I see that you
so I'm re
post her all the time.
so like I'm reading the Sphinx, and it's just that the Sphinx one, which is her second one, I think, or second or third one, or second one, yeah. So I'm going to San Diego next month, right?
Are you
And
going to
so
the workshop
yeah,
for
yeah,
Pamela? Because
yeah,
she's going to be there too.
yeah.
That's
I'm doing her work. I'm doing
exciting.
her
That's cool.
workshop.
That's
So
great.
and it seems like, hey, sometimes it's supposed to like trigger something when you read her books. And I was like, is anything being triggered or something? I don't
I met
know.
her. I met her
Probably.
in Daytona.
Yeah,
Oh,
Um,
cool.
I was at a QHHT reunion, and
yeah.
Sarah was there, and she was one of the presenters, and I saw her in the bathroom, and I was like, "Hi, Sarah."
That's special.
So you say QHHT, and last year I saw a QHHT practitioner,
Hmm.
and some really weird stuff happened when I was there. There was lots of heavy construction on the outside. The birds started chirping, sort of get dark a little bit, and
Yeah.
then Dawn, she's my friend now, she started seeing all these synchronicities in our charts. So I'll go into my story if you don't mind a little bit right now,
Yeah.
okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So she lives in a different province, which is a different state to you guys, I know. But
Okay.
anyway,
Thank you.
she comes by early July, and there's like really you could feel the energy between us, right? So anyway, long story short, she needed me to go out on sort of a little quest this Sunday because she needed to finalize some codes or something. Like uh, she does
Ley
ley line
lines?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and she thinks that we're past Knights Templar and stuff like that together in the past. Like obviously we were done previous lives because we're just so. And I see us like two birds flying together in the sky. We're sort of like yin and yang sort of thing, and we could
Hmm.
say anything between each other. Anyway, so I um I sort of was playing the knight per se, and she's playing, Lady of the Magdalene or whatever. I'm representing Archangel Michael, like divine masculine, she's divine feminine. We're going out on this quest, and I'm saying, oh, we're gonna, and this is how we might see dragons
Yeah.
on the way there, right? So I was joking. So we're going on the east side of, like, I'm driving several hundred kilometers, just whole thing, right? And we go to a store, and I buy this sword. This is Archangel Michael's sword, and then after the storm, we see this church with some more Templar or saints in the glass and stuff like that. And then we drive down to another place where she needs to lay down some clothes. And I'm seeing this mailbox dressed as a tower, as a castle tower,
Okay.
right? We're driving by, and there is a wooden dragon on the lawn.
No,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Crazy.
And we're just laughing. And so we're
That's
driving
so
through the
cool.
day, laying down codes, and we hit strategic places at 444,
Oh,
333,
wow.
Wow.
and we even get
Chills again.
lost. And then we even get lost because we're what do you say it? Ley line people, they get lost all the time. And so we take a wrong turn, and we're like driving down a dirt road, and we get back on the right highway again. I drop her off. We talk till like 8 o'clock, and I drive all the way home, and the final odometer reading saying how much mileage I have left is 222.
Wow.
Okay. that's not the weird thing here. On Wednesday, I said, okay, because she represents somebody famous in the past. I'm not going to mention who it was, but I said, okay, if she was this, and we were always playing together in the future, or in lives, who was I during that when she was this person? And I'm going, then I smell smoke,
Mm,
and then I see myself by a fire, by a by her feet lighting the fire. Like I was a soldier
no.
that lit the fire,
When she was a
right?
witch?
No, she
Oh,
wasn't a witch. She, she was, well, she was in France, but I'm not going to say who she was.
okay.
So I said, okay, I'm the one who lit the fire. And she goes, so she checks my chart for that day that I discover that at 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 222 at 222, and at 222 the sun was exactly on my ascendant at at 442, and that's also where my Venus is at 442. The
Mm-hmm.
exact same time the sun conjunct with that at the exact it was the sun was also at 442. My natal ascendant was at 442, and my natal Venus was at 442 at 222 that local time. So that was a major revelation. So that ties back to the 222 when I came home from all that big epic adventure on Sunday. So
That's really cool. Well, you know what
yeah,
I feel like you're
Yeah,
doing is starting to not only like you're starting to remember, you know, you're
yeah.
remembering
Well,
all your
like
time and lifelines.
I actually coughed. Like I was saying, I was in meditation. I said, okay, okay, oh, really? Oh, and then my whole I had a whole body like uh goosebump thing,
Mm-hmm.
and she got the same thing. And then I'm in Rotary, and then and then we sent emails at the same time, literally, to each other, crossing both ways and talking. It's like I told her in Rotary, then she sent me an email, and I responded to her first email, and we sent the email at the same time at 8:42 on total synchronicity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Great.
that's what happens to me.
Well, I think it's fun. I mean, look at you. You're in like to have a companion that you can be on this level in sync
Yeah,
and go on these, like I said, this adventure of
yeah.
like rediscovering who you are. You're multidimensional human.
Like it's weird because like it's like how did I used to live in like hundreds of miles or even thousands of miles away, and I came back to the province, and I'm living like in the same neighborhood she lived in when she was a kid,
That's so cool.
and
And you wouldn't
like
be doing this 5 years ago.
I
Like
know.
isn't that
Yeah,
so cool? It's like when I
yeah.
met Nicole, like we met like online. And then I went on this like journey. And not only that, she had to be my little angel and save my whole entire family. And I mean, we're still like talking to each other. Like, and it's still like, it feels like we never left. And when we miss each other, of course, like we love chatting, but it's like, we definitely feel like we've lived lifetimes together at some capacity.
for sure.
And it's weird how we find each other, right? And you
Right.
know when it's tight, like when your bond is just like,
You know when you know.
you know when you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like Spirit Calling community is getting like that too, even with Stacey and you
Right.
connecting too, and all of you guys getting
Absolutely.
together. And I
Uh-huh.
need to be better at that, to be honest. I'm in the thick of it with children and stuff like that, but it makes me so grateful to know that we all have each other's back, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, it's actually amazing. Like just having this outlet and like the community, it's really, really great. And it's growing, which is really lovely as well. By the way, I just thought of something when you were talking about healing, like and all the physical things.
Yeah.
I just did a really nice healing meditation that Suzanne Giesman did that
Okay.
I can, you know what, maybe I'll just share it on the link on the Spirit Calling page.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
would
a
be
nice
great.
13-minute meditation. It's a healing and it's really nice. So it's been
I
helping
would
me.
love
So
that.
yeah.
And I also like these conversations because while this is the purpose of this is to kind of like expand into other people's frequency that might still be on the journey of not awake, you know, or whatever you want to refer to, and then eventually it's like that aha moment, like, well, that sounds familiar. That sounds interesting. Or I thought about getting into meditation. And then this is their guide of finding their way, or whatever, that next step is in their life. And even having these conversations with you, it ignites something back in myself. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, or that's something that maybe I was ready to hear again. And that's something that I can start to work on. Because Michael, you did that to me. I don't know. I feel like sometimes, like when you speak, um, it just draws a lot of curiosity to me, because you're always doing something. Look at his face. He's
Something
always doing
cool.
something. I'm like, man, that sounds like
I'm
fun.
tortured by curiosity. Tortured. I
I
can't
really,
I
oh,
can't
go ahead.
sit down. I always have to find something interesting to do. It just
I'm
drives me
sure.
nuts.
Real quick with
Yeah,
Nicole, this doesn't have sciatica in it, but this was Soul Speak, written by Julia Cannon. And they don't have
Yeah.
sciatica in here, but this was a book that I started practicing on to learn a little bit about how the body communicates with us.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of it with the lower back pain is exactly what we were saying, is like not feeling supported. Mid thoracic is like taking on, if you don't mind me just sharing this a little bit, because this could
No,
be
it's
kind of
great.
like intermixed with you. Hold on one second. That's what when I blocked out my camera, I'm like, I got to get that book, because maybe there's something about sciatica in here.
You don't think that what we're going through as a collective right now is her past traumas coming up or bubbling up into her sciatica? It could be that, right?
It could be.
Yeah,
Well, and I didn't even get to let her talk about the inner child, because Nicole has a lot there too, you know?
yeah.
We've talked extensively on the inner child, I think, for years. That was a
Yeah.
lot of what we
Yeah, it could be
discussed.
something that she hasn't faced yet, and it just she has to face it, sort of
yeah.
thing.
I think a lot of pain can be blocks to sort of
Yeah.
just that like trust issue.
Right.
Actually, now that I'm thinking with that Suzanne Giesemann, the first thing she says, she's on some tour bus promoting that movie that she did,
The
Wolf's
wolf.
Message. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wolf's
wolf
Message, which is
message.
good. So I watched it. So she's on the tour bus at the dining. She says at the little dining set. She goes, the first time I've sat down, I've had horrible sciatica. This is really funny. I'm just thinking she was complaining of horrific sciatica, and then she was on stage and somebody recorded her channeling, and she said, listen to it yourself, and it's actually related to sciatica. So it's funny it was sciatica
Is
because
it
now
in
Oh,
that,
that's
in that
perfect.
one,
it's
the
in
13
that
minute?
video. It's in that video because
Oh,
she introduces it and she says, I've had terrible sciatic pain in my hip, and it's the first time I could sit down at this set.
All right, you got to
And
send that.
I'm definitely
yeah.
saying
It's
I got
crazy.
chills. I got
That's
chills again
great.
because
Serendipity.
I'm
Is that
like,
the
oh my
craziest
God.
5D all day I've had? It's like the
Yeah.
most synchronistic 5D we've had yet.
Honestly,
Yeah.
what the heck? This is
Like
crazy.
everything that we've said is tied into the other. It's like so,
It
it's
it
Literally.
I'm like,
infinity, man.
I know I have to share that. So I'll just share it on
Please
the
do.
wall of spirit calling so everybody
You
can
can do
access.
that.
But
And if you could put it in 5D all day, I don't know if you're part of the event group,
yeah,
but
I
that way
am. I
it'll be
think so.
relevant to this
I'll
group.
do that. But that's
Cool, but
actually, I'm
do
like
both.
thinking,
I would love that.
that's wild.
But real
Like,
quick, I
That's
wanted to share
amazing.
this with one last thing too about the back not feeling supported, but the mid back also associates with the solar plexus chakra, which represents your power zone. So issues here can be indicative of needing to step into your power. I don't know if that has any relevance to you. And if you're having upper back and neck shoulder tension represents carrying other people's problems or burdens. Again, like we might still be holding on to things that aren't ours anymore. And I know a lot about shoulder pain. If you're having a lot of shoulder pain, right or left, sometimes there's not an equal balance of giving and receiving. So a lot of times we could be giving, and not allowing ourselves to take in. So I just felt like I had to share that with you.
That is amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We've got a few minutes left. One thing I did want to say, I don't even know if Anna Marie's still on, but she was asking a question about, does anybody know the potential of the QFC quantum financial system? Does anybody have any insight on that? I mean, I can give my own insight on what I feel like what's going to happen with us financially, but does anybody here on this particular call, other than maybe
Facts.
Pam, have any feedback? Michael, no, this isn't your wheelhouse.
I know
No,
there's
No.
someone in the community. I
no.
forget his
So,
name.
so Anna Marie,
Richard.
Richard. He
Richard,
would know.
Yeah.
she's still here. Good. I'm glad you're here. Well, Richard apparently knows a lot about this. But what I will tell you, and maybe people will not like what I'm about to say, but I believe that we have been, just like in this matrix, we won't need to be paying with money the way that we are, that they're holding on to a system, the financial system,
Be
to
it.
keep us where we are, and it's no longer going to be there. So whatever that's going to look like, however we're going to continue to pursue our lives, we're going to do it more from a higher level 5D perspective rather than a third dimensional being. We won't need to use money in that way. So I already know we're going in that trajectory, but things have to come down as that process happens. Maybe some temporary stuff, but like I could just never get into Bitcoin and all this stuff. Like I feel like it's too much stuff. I'm like, it shouldn't be that hard. 5D isn't that hard.
Yeah, I've never really resonated as much with something that's not tangible,
Yeah.
like materialistic. Like I guess going back to gold and silver, I guess, is
Yeah.
going to be somewhat, but
Yeah.
that's something that you can actually touch, because otherwise, what can you trust? You can fudge numbers here and there when it's in the ether. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to have something that's worth something if it's not something that actually has a value and a worth and a weight. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. Maybe we're shifting out of that because we're becoming less physical and less 3D, but at the same time, I just don't resonate with things that are, I don't know.
I
It's
agree.
hard for me
I
to,
think our skill sets and
organic is the word, organic.
our skill sets and our perspectives and what we offer to the community will become a commodity that's of
Yeah.
value.
I
Right.
think
So
it's yeah, and I do believe like, and I'm just going to say this, I have a family member who is already trying to exit the matrix, when it comes to what the government has done. And I mean, there's it's a lot of interesting information about how they use terminology that doesn't even refer to who we are. It's like trickery. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm not a resident of New Jersey. I forget how it was put, but it's just like how they switch the words from like a resident of New Jersey versus I live in New Jersey, the state of New Jersey. It's like if you reword something, then you are not liable for something. So there's a lot of trickery in that, and for me, it's too much, to be honest, to wrap my mind around. But I know a lot of people are coming out with, trying to present this information so the public knows that there's a lot of legal jargon that is holding us and tying us to this network, right?
they've been doing that for probably hundreds of
Court
Oh,
years.
hundreds of
situation.
years. And I think more and more
Yeah.
people are now trying to expose it. I mean, I've watched things too saying, income tax is illegal, all this
Yeah.
stuff. So again, I think that for it to become a mass and for it to shift, something has to happen on a larger scale. Otherwise,
Yeah.
who has the time for all of us to start getting into this? Unless we all band together with no fear. There has to be something that gets us all ready to do that, like the big jump in the net. Let's go,
Which you can feel and see happening all around the world right now. If
Absolutely.
that's what you're paying attention to, it's literally preparing for the new. And
So,
you have to have collapse to have rebuild. I mean, you have to have the wildfire to have the regrowth. It's all the same analogy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
absolutely. What
So
a
no
fun
fear.
call,
We're
guys.
excited.
Anna Marie, I hope that helps. But she's like, I think, like you said, like part of abundance too. Like this is what I was telling my kids in the car today. If we are more intentional with being positive and bringing positivity to each other, like let's just say my daughter dropped a lucky coin. She found a lucky penny. And then it fell. And then my son grabbed it. And then his friend grabbed it. And then there was this big fight on whose penny it is. And she got upset and she started to cry. And then she started to get mad at her brother. And I said, half the time he's not even listening. He thought it fell out of the sky. And I said, listen, even if we have misunderstandings, let's try our best to shift out of that lower vibration of being mad and he's the worst brother ever to being like, okay, maybe he just wasn't paying attention. He really thought it fell out of the sky and he apologized and let's move on. Because
Right.
I see these patterns of kids getting stuck in this fight of being right
Yeah.
and he's
That's
mean.
the thing.
And I
Being
said,
right. Yeah.
and I tell them, I'm like, listen, you can have those feelings. I understand, but he's truly trying to be the best he can by apologizing. And let's now say something that can shift us into something more positive because there's no time to waste. The more you draw in that negative, the more you'll receive the negative. The more you draw the abundance and the positive, the more you receive it. I said, I guarantee you right now, if you said you wanted to find another lucky penny, you'll probably find it in about 10 minutes. So it's just our minds just have to, how much focus do we want on something that's negative and how much something that's positive or what we want?
Right. What do you
We're
want
the
to match?
creators, we're the co-creators of this reality.
That's right. It's not about being right. And I feel like we have to remember that someone's right is going to be someone else's not
Wrong.
right. And we're literally all so individual. If we were
Absolutely.
all right, we wouldn't even be here because we would all be the same, and we're all not the same.
I'm so glad that you said that.
Yeah, we all are entitled to our own right, and everyone else has their own right. And if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have all these creative ideas and different things to go along with, because what one person lacks, another person makes up for. And we all have to just respect that we create the balance that we need in the world. And we have to respect everyone's opinion, because it all is just an opinion in the end.
That's right.
With that. So wise.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Well, I guess we have 2 minutes. Do you want me to wrap up,
Yeah.
or does anyone have any last thing that they would like to share? Or maybe something that we can think about next time. I did love that numerology, but I never got a hold of
Anna
who was
Marie
it that? What's that?
Clark. Was it Anne Marie Clark?
I think it was.
Yeah, she I think does the numerology. So.
Yeah, Anne Marie. We never did connect again. Yeah, Anne Marie. We never reconnected, but that's something fun. And like I would like to bring something kind of fun to the table. Like if we have something that we know we want to look forward to the next time that we're here. So if you guys want to send any messages in the chat, and I can make that happen, if we can get her on, and it would be fun who shows up, maybe we can do something just a little
I love that.
I did spend
interesting
lots of time on numerology for
Interactive
a month
reading.
last year.
Yeah,
So.
I love numerology. I could listen to it all day. But
Yeah.
one last thing before I go, I do want to say I want to give a shout out to Nicole again. Nicole, let's all check out her website. You know, maybe if you can also post that in 5D all day.
Yeah, I did
And on
do a
the site,
post.
yeah, repost it there, or just something specific or anything that like, we can really see that's tangible. I would love to get involved in helping you out in any way. And just like you're amazing.
Awesome.
You've done so many amazing things for the community
Thank
too.
you.
So thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited to share what I've been coming out with. I did share on the community as well as in social posts. I have created a free download for a meditation journal. I think it's a great step for anybody that either is already meditating and just taking it to that next deeper step. It's completely free, that you just literally click on it and it brings up the journal. You don't even have to do anything about it, but it has all kinds of great stuff to keep track of your own meditation, some prompts, some just really getting you to be intuitive, what you're feeling before, what you're feeling after, just some ideas in there. So I'm really excited to bring free tools and resources just to jumpstart the exciting journey of the awakening. So yeah.
That's amazing. And not only that, like that's where people have really stepped into the next level. Like even Stacey, you never know. You start writing and poof, something, a Claire might open up for you that, has been waiting.
I started like yesterday actually doing some automatic writing with a meditation.
Awesome.
It's funny that you
Wow.
just said that. I
I
literally
told
just
you this
started.
synchronicity of this.
I'm telling you.
That was amazing.
It's on fire. It's on fire. And I love it. I love it so much. Well, I want to thank you, anyone who's been watching while we were here. And I know Pamela was on as well. Thank you, Pamela, for being there. I know you're very busy. And for all of our other viewers that may not even have said anything, I want to thank you. And you guys for being here and making this happen. This wouldn't happen without you. So I want to thank you for having the same interest that I do of just sharing and having conversation of our journeys and where we are. And I look forward to seeing you next month.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you,
Have a lovely
guys.
weekend. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
holiday too.
See ya.
Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Great. Bye-bye.